Arizona that they go live on. Oh, here we are. We're on Facebook.
Oh, yay.
Perfect. Good morning. Sorry for the delay, everyone. We were having some issues, not being able to go on live. So, good morning. Good morning. Welcome to our 7-day chakra cleanse. Today is day 3 of our solar plexus. Beautiful yellow, just like the wall behind me. So I just want to go ahead and go right into our sound. And so what I want to do is everyone just take 3 deep belly breaths.
Go ahead, inhale through the nose, out through the mouth. In through the nose, hold it, listen to your heart. Out through the mouth. Last big one. Now just breathe normally at your normal pace.
I want you all to imagine this beautiful yellow, bright circle turning clockwise right where your stomach is located, right underneath your sternum. It's right in the center. And I just want you to imagine this beautiful yellow circle just growing as you hear each sound. And continue breathing. Go ahead and take 3 more deep breaths. And as you slowly come back, I just want to take time for welcoming everyone. Thank you for being here. I am Rebecca Arce, my husband JB Atkins, and together we form Dual Dragons, holistic wellness consultants. also known as the Muscle Whisperers. And this group, again, just to recap, was formed. The Healers Roundtable was formed with the purpose of a strong calling I got from my guides that we needed to come together just like the Knights of the Round Table to be able to protect. And this is mainly to be able to heal together and prepare ourselves for more transformations that are coming ahead. And so just wanted to take time on talking a little bit about the chakra. It's about energy, strength. Whenever I think about my core chakra, I always think of the core, like almost like if that was when you look at the earth and they talk about the core, the center, the essence. And that's how I feel this chakra on myself. It's one that I use a lot, that I activate as I work on people. And I want to share a little story that occurred to me yesterday that will lead into the chakra. It was a combination of both. So I work on the side on my own as a massage therapist. And I had 3 clients yesterday. 3. The first one was, everyone's working from home. A lot of tension up here. Worked on her, and something told me to bring my a crystal, because I did the crystal bathing yesterday, and I just want to show you guys. That's the crystal that called out for me to take, and I had it in my pocket. And so as I'm working on my first client, she just like at the end just took this deep breath and said, "That was the most amazing massage." And it was beautiful. I was like, okay, I'm starting to feel this flow of energy. And my second client walks in, new client, and I could tell she's in pain. The way she was just walking into my room, you could tell that every step felt heavy. And I could feel it. And I looked at her and I said, "You look like you're in a lot of pain." She goes, "I am. You're my last resort right now." And I'm like, "Okay, can you tell me what's going on?" So she tells me a little bit about how she had an injury at work back in May. And because of that, they put her early on. They retired her early. She's in disability. She lost her job. Things have just been going downhill. And she was just like, "I've never experienced pain like this in my whole life. I don't know what to think anymore." And she had the only time she had received a massage, the last time was when her daughter was 7, and now her daughter's 20 something years old. So you could tell she was in desperation. And so I start working on her, and I'm taking my time, and she's in pain. And I'm like, I'm gonna go beyond my scope here, because I really need to address this energy crisis you're going through. And she goes, "I have to say," before I started, she goes, "I have to say, I've never experienced a massage like this. Like, your hands feel so different. These are healing hands." So she right away set up the platform to open up that discussion. And when I got that message, it was almost like my guides yelling at me like, "Yes, get on it." And so we had this really deep conversation, and she was telling me that they had told her that she's a healer too. And I remembered Erica's words yesterday, like, we're all healers. And I told her, yes, we're all healers. And, I need you to step into that power, And so as towards the end, I was, because she didn't even have a good function of her arms. And I go, your left side is your feminine energy, your right side is your masculine energy. Your body's in crisis, but I want you to take that power back. You have that power. Don't think you lost it. And I want you to tap into your masculine energy. You can still move. You're moving. Yes, I know it's painful, but you're still moving. You're still functional. And I need you to do more now. I need you to step into your power and do more. And she goes, I just never experienced pain like that. And I go, you know what? Sometimes we have to go through these things to be able to be prepared for what is to come. So there's a reason why you're experiencing this pain. I know it's not fun, but you need to go through it. There's going to be something important for you to do after this.
And then with that, to share my story, I was reflecting yesterday and even this morning preparing to go into this third chakra. It was hilarious. Like every memory of me ever having some kind of form of pain that's really excruciating, whether it's emotional, physical, or mental. And then after that, there was something I had to deal with. And because I felt that pain, it was almost like a breeze dealing with that really new lesson or experience, that moment of preparation. And another memories that came up were I kept on getting injured or hit in that solar plex region. And when I had felt something along the lines of what you see on the screen, whether it was guilt or lack of energy or weakness or low self-esteem, it hurt when I had that physical contact to that region. Whether it was in playing baseball or sports or riding a bike and I turned too hard and the handle jabbed me in the, and then there's other moments when I had similar jab myself in the stomach with the handle, or a baseball hit me in that region, or in training in the military, that I got that just as much pressure or contact and it didn't hurt, were moments that I recognized that I was balanced in with my energy, with my confidence, my mental strength, and just being active. It's very fascinating now reflecting that when you're in balance and you may receive something physical or emotional, the pain's not really present. It's not carried through your body. There's nothing for it to hang on to. But when you do kind of dip down in a lower vibration, whether it's through emotions of guilt or lower emotions, you notice how you may be carrying pain. And I've been recognizing and reflecting, okay, as I take a deep breath, and is this mine or someone else? If it's not mine, I notice my energy, my vibration starts raising, and I'm feeling more balanced and more confident in myself and my self-healing ability. And then, of course, if it's there, okay, what about me do I need to address? And not too long ago, I was getting back into a workout routine, and I just couldn't really keep up or do a long amount of time, say, doing sit-ups or something that had to really engage my abdominal region. And I asked my lovely soulmate, my wife, to please work that area. And he kind of expressed and share what you were discovering and the visions you were getting to help me process that, to be able to let that go and flow.
Oh, you want me to share that?
Yes, because you got visions and you shared messages, and I can't recall specifically what those were.
Me neither. It's just those moments where things will come. I always experience that. Things will come up and they're there for that moment. I gave you the message, but sometimes after that, it's gone. But going back to yesterday, I can remember yesterday's. That same client, I had to turn her over because there was just no way I could work on her back. The pain was in the back. And it was just so painful. Like literally I was touching her like this and she was like, ah, and I was like, okay, I can't do this. I need to turn you around and I need to work through the front because that's where you have the least pain, but I'm going to get to it. And so I was working over the abdominal region, just like what JB was saying. I had my left hand on her iliopsoas and my right hand on the right iliopsoas and on the left QL. And I'm doing this diagonal work, and I'm working through her root, her sacral, and solar plexus. And you could just feel the energy crisis all through her chakras. And I'm just like telling her, just breathe. And I had to train her to breathe through her belly. Because the other crisis that was going on here is because of all that emotional stress. She was doing chest breathing, and so that was affecting all her arms. And all I could tell you is that at the end of that session, a new woman walked out of that room. She walked in looking helpless, in pain. And when she walked out, the minute she opened that door, her beautiful blue eyes just lit up. And she was like, that was wonderful. And I'm like, you feel better? And she's like, so much better. And so it led to that, like by working on the root, the sacral, and the solar plexus, plus, the arms, the heart, the throat, you still, you're still functional. Talk to, speak up, say what you want, I don't want this now, I'm ready to move on, and then the third eye, tap into your gift. It's time. And then connect to your higher source through your crown. So it was just, I had a full chakra experience yesterday with her. So that was the story of yesterday. And without due notice, I want JB to introduce our guest speaker.
Yes, our wonderful guest speaker is Miss Kathy Williams. She's been helping people get unstuck and awaken for over 20 years through coaching, using every tool she ever acquired through life. And of course, for Kathy, she's an IOA, inner and outer transformational practice for awakening. And let me just turn it over to her.
Hi, everybody. Thank you so much for being here. Yeah, I am just going to add on to that. I began as a yoga instructor and then quickly realized I didn't have the tools to help people from where they were functioning. They would come for back pain, and clearly the issue was more than back pain. So I had to add to my toolbox with neuro-linguistic programming or hypnotherapy or tapping or, all the things. And I'm sure many of your journeys are like that, where you're like, oh, well, this tool I have works in this area, but I need more. And so we go on our healing journey. And one of the ways that relates to the third chakra is what do I need? Like a lot of our beliefs here involved, what do I need in order to feel worthy, worthwhile, valuable, useful? And for me, a lot of the times that was like, oh, if I can't help this person in 1 or 2 or 3 sessions get to where I think they should be, right? Totally healed, really great, then maybe I'm not enough, right? Maybe I don't have enough. I'm not a good healer. Oh, if I myself still have this thing I can't heal, my hip, my whatever, maybe that means I'm not a good healer, right? Like that, not enough. Um, my worth is based on XYZ, my ability to heal somebody else. For a lot of people who come in to see us, it might not be my ability to see or to heal someone else, but it might be my worth is based on my image, my bank account, my having a relationship, have a partner. I think they did a study in which it showed that people would rather be coupled, even if it's someone it's really not working with, than not have a partner. Because, in a way, that's because of it proves I'm worthy. It proves I'm valuable enough to have somebody, right? And so in this chakra, there's a lot of that stuff going on. Even am I good enough for God, right? For the divine. And these a lot of these messages are based on our upbringing. Well, if mom and dad had 2 degrees each, then of course it's really important for me to be smart and good grades and all of that. If mom won some sort of beauty contest, well, I don't live up to that, and so all the messages we get can be verbal, but they don't have to be. They can be just what we're picking up from the outside. But the thing is, all of that is a story. It's what we're telling ourselves. One day I was at the airport, at Kona Airport, which is an outdoor, beautiful place to be in Hawaii, waiting for someone whose flight happened to be like 2.5 hours late. And I was sitting there, as I was there, reading a book called Masters of the Far East. And maybe some of you have read it. It's a series, and it's about Jesus and different masters, and the message I got as I started to look around at all the people who are wheeling their suitcases out of the airport was, all of these people are functioning from the belief I am not enough. Every one of these people. And it's a lie. But what do we do when we're functioning from the idea that we're not enough? We go out to prove that we are enough in some way. Right? We have to show mom, dad, boss, friends, the world, I am enough based on what I do, based on what I achieve, based on the things I accomplish out there. Right? None of that has to do with, am I happy? It has to do with putting on a show that then gives me feedback from out there that I'm enough. But the problem with that is, what's out there is reflective of what's inside me. And what's inside me is the belief I'm not enough. So what kind of evidence am I going to collect? Even if so-and-so thinks I'm enough, right? If they give me a disapproving look, I'm going to collect that as evidence that, oh, maybe I'm not enough, right? Oh, I did, let's say I'm a massage therapist. Oh, they're feeling better, but that problem that they've had for 18 years is not gone. Okay, so collecting the evidence that, oh, I didn't do a good enough job. All of that stuff is dancing here in our third chakra. So one of the techniques that I really like to do and share with people that's super simple is to place the non-dominant hand, so if you're right-handed, that would be your left hand, on this chakra. And the dominant hand has a very different quality than the non-dominant hand, right? The non-dominant is a little bit more flowing, more receptive. The dominant is a little bit more outgoing, assertive. And place that hand on the heart, because there's a directive energy here. And so we're taking the directive sort of force out of the third chakra and bringing it to the heart. And you can just be with that for a moment. and feel the breath ripple between these two places, right? How the body responds to your breath. And this even changes posture, because when we get into me against world, me show world, that I am enough, we often get into this kind of arched posture with the chest going forward. Or, conversely, I am not enough, so sort of hunched, rounded in posture. And bringing the hands here reminds these two places to realign. One, to not be too forward of the other. And then sometimes I just invite people to say the mantra, not even the mantra, recognize, I am here. I am here. I am here. Right now in the present. Okay. Because the head likes to be all over the place. I didn't do this thing good enough, right? The past. Oh, I better do this, right? I have all these people I have to do things for. That's the future. Right now, you're here. Yet so often we're not, right? So just coming back to now. Because now is the only moment we have ever. I know that's so easy to say. It's true. It's true. And now is the only place we can act from. And that's one of the other things associated with this chakra. Will, action, choosing something. Okay, what can I choose that's going to work for all of us? Not just them, not just me. What can I choose that's going to include all the energies in my life and create something greater, even if it doesn't feel that way right this second? Create something greater for all of us. Sometimes what's going to create greater for all of us is me getting more sleep, taking a nap. Sometimes what's going to create greater for all of us is me saying no, because my pattern is to say yes all the time. So asserting your personal power doesn't mean cutting off from everybody else outside of us. It actually means having the awareness to include all of us and choose accordingly, even if it feels like you're gonna make someone upset. Or even if it feels really uncomfortable. Because a lot of the time, when we're gonna choose something that's foreign or unusual or outside of our pattern, it does feel uncomfortable. That's beautiful. If you can move beyond that discomfort, if you can almost become comfortable being uncomfortable, then you break that old pattern. And the fire of transformation occurs. And that's also in this chakra. So one of the visualizations, some people are more visual, you could either imagine a fire burning here, or do candle gazing with a real candle and pour your old patterns into the fire. Oh, my pattern is to say yes because I think, that's what people need to hear from me, or they need my help, right? When they need my help, it's like, oh, you're not actually recognizing that they're a powerful person too, some of the time, right? You're not their source. The universe, God, whatever it is their source. So for you to constantly allow them to depend on you for everything, maybe that's a disabling, a dysfunctional pattern. You can pour that into the fire. if I were really functioning in alignment, from integrity, in the kingdom of we, which includes everyone, what pattern would I change and what new pattern would I create? And then inviting your own wisdom to bring that up. All right. I know 10 minutes is so short. I could go on and on, but I
Well,
want
I
to.
invite you to continue to flow. It seems like you're wonderful. And then maybe also look into switching your view to from gallery to speaker. Please.
And
Me?
then,
Yes.
JB, go ahead and unmute everybody so if they have questions for her.
Oh, sure. Yeah, question.
Yeah. It's definitely, yeah.
Thank you
It-
so much. We gotta go, but I just want to say thank you so much, Kathy. Thank you, Rebecca, for doing this. We love you all. Ali and I send our love. We gotta get going to do the work. So thank you so much, everyone. Blessings.
Thanks for being here, Michael.
Thank
Have
you.
a great day.
You as well. Keep unfolding greatness.
Thank you, and you too.
Just a little bit of what you were talking about, Kathy, is my last client. It was a 14-year-old, and it was just, I was telling JB, it was just so comical hearing her like, oh, and I want to go to the best school, and I don't like how high school is going. You know, it's horrible. They want us to go to school, but if we're on Zoom, it's considered an absence. And how is that going to look on my college application? And I don't know. And I want to go to the best school. And it was just, it was, it was funny because you were, you know, the way you were talking about how we tend to want to follow the same story of our parents. So she started talking about how her father went to Stanford and how they were high school sweethearts and they were dating since 16. And she's already thinking like, when am I going to find my high school sweetheart at age 16? Like, and then at the end of it, she goes, what do you think? And I said, I think you are ready to write your own story. And that was my response. And she just kind of stayed quiet. And I'm like, it'll get to you. Give it time. But yeah, what you were saying about how we tend to follow the story of our parents, and I remember that she kind of reminded me when I was getting out of high school, what my parents wanted me to do. And I felt that obligation of having to please them, but it wasn't really what I wanted to do. And it was just looking back at it now, during that time, something significant happened. I became aware that the pedestal I put my father in has shattered at that moment, that same time. I discovered a secret of his, and it just destroyed that perception. But at the same time, it was a blessing because then I was able to break away from following that storyline. I was like, wait, if he could do that, why can't I do this?
I love that you said it shattered that pedestal.
Mm-hmm.
That's a huge third chakra thing.
Yeah.
Where it's like putting anyone higher or lower is not seeing clearly.
Yes.
Because nobody is higher or lower.
Mm-hmm.
We're all aspects of the divine, or whatever word you want to use.
And to me, one of the beautiful things you were talking about is not expecting you to be like everyone else. That everyone is comparing themselves to what they see others either succeeding at or telling them they hope they succeed at, instead of recognizing what really gives them satisfaction in life. And so few people grow up with an open environment that allows them to find themselves instead of finding those patterns that others chose for them. And I didn't even realize how lucky I was, because my parents had both lost their parents at very early ages. And so they felt they had grown up without the support of parents. And therefore, they wanted to be the sort of parents to my brother and I who allowed us to be the best we could be without their judgment. And so what was normal to me was abnormal to most of the people around me. What was something to rebel against for others was for something for me to embrace. And so when I looked at life and said, why is it I'm not feeling the need to rebel? Why is it I'm not feeling the need to go out and do destructive things in life? It took me a while to realize it wasn't because I wasn't being normal. It was that my normal was so different than everybody else's.
What a gift.
It truly, truly was. And I am just shocked how often I encounter people who in their 40s, 50s, 60s, and 70s are still trying to live up to somebody else's expectations of them and have not yet freed themselves to be themselves.
Yeah.
So when you were talking earlier, Rebecca, about the body work and the woman not being able to let go of all the tension in the back, I was so thrilled to hear you turned her so that you were working on that front line, because from the structural integration side, we always talk about that front line and the back line being like a bow and arrow. And when that front line is tight, that causes that back line to bend and give you that sense that it is not able to straighten up. And everybody thinks it's the back line that needs to be released. And it's that front line, that holding, that tucking down, that holding yourself in protection of this chakra, that until you can open that up, you can't free that back. And so clients are like, well, no, I came in thinking you were going to work on my back. It's my back that hurts. I'm like, we'll get there. And it's very hard for them to recognize that you as the therapist in any way, shape, or form are taking them where they asked to go, but are taking them in a direction they think is wrong. Mm-hmm. So it's developing that trust, and it's not trying to argue with them, but trying to educate them to recognize what it is within themselves you're trying to help them to set it free. So bravo to you.
Thank you. And I truly believe I call it polarity work.
Yeah.
You know, what happens in the back needs to be, tended to in the front. And the way I explain it to clients is it's like a pulley. You know, if one side pulls, the other one is being stretched. And so I need to address both sides to release the pull so the stretch could relax.
Right.
And once I'm able to explain it that way to them, I'm all like, just imagine your body full of rubber bands. Would you want your rubber bands being stretched? Would you want your being knotted all the time? You know,
do you have a tensegrity structure to show them what that's like? Pressing on, so that they can see how that creates that push and pull.
Usually I work on the upper back, and I address the pec with the trigger point in the back, and they could feel that go through. They're like, and I'm like, yep, that's the spot.
That's why in the structural work, we work the lateral lines first to help open up the breathing, because part of that letting go is to even be able to breathe through anything you're doing. Yes. And so they're like, you're working on my side? Why are you working on my side? And it's like the ribs and how it connects front to back. All of that starts to play together and allows them to do that deeper breathing, and allows them to start to go, wait a minute, wow, I am making that breath connection to the rest of the body. Yes. So beautiful work, ladies. And JB.
Patty?
I have a question. Hi, I'm Patty Mays, holistic business life coach and CEO of Unit of Soul. And I have a question for you, Kathy. I loved how you asked us to put our non-dominant hand over our solar plexus and our other hand over our heart. And that was such a beautiful moment. I wanted to stay there the rest of the day, and it felt so good. My question is, I didn't understand, or I didn't really get the name of your what your tool that you use. I believe JB mentioned it, but I didn't catch it. What do you call that tool, that practice that you use?
The particular practice we did with the two hands, or
Mhm.
just, yeah. Actually, I didn't give a name for it, but when I learned it, it was called surrender
Mm.
meditation. And I was like, well, people do it, but they don't necessarily meditate here, so we can come up with a different name. It's almost like a rebalancing, because we're allowing the energy of the heart to kind of align and drop in with the solar plexus. Because here, the solar plexus feels like it's alone, right? In either an arched posture or sort of a dropped posture. It's like they're not integrated. And so they're just rebalancing, finding a connection. Yeah. So,
And also, if you would tell us a little bit more of your healing practice, what it is that you do.
sure. Right now, what I do a lot of is help people move beyond their story.
Yeah.
And that can have to do with patterns, like looking at patterns, whether from this lifetime or other lifetimes in the Akashic records, and sort of integrate and digest and assimilate those patterns and essentially clear them. Um, but a large part is also helping people see that the story of the individuated I, like I, Kathy, I'm a being that has to figure life out and stuff like that, is not actually true, right? It's where the most of the world is functioning from, over 99% of the world, but it's not true. So one example of that might be, um, as you're listening to me speak, become aware of what is listening. So, not just, you're listening to the words, but actually the presence of listening, because that is the constant. As I like to say, you are what's constant. You are not what arises and falls. You are not what comes and goes. So, any of the thoughts that are arise, well, you are not that, right? Any of the beliefs, the fear, the emotions, right? You are not that. That doesn't mean we can't dance with that. We have to dance with that and learn to be with it in a harmonious way. And it's easy when we keep returning to now, right? Which is one of the things that um, meditation sort of, there, that integration of the two chakras helps us do. Oh, now, right? Not that thing that happened 5 minutes ago. Now is the only moment there is. Um, so I use a lot of different tools. I was an access consciousness facilitator for a good number of years. I, I, as I said, my journey began with yoga and the tools of yoga. So I just kind of be with wherever someone is, and help them rediscover that, oh no, I'm not actually my story. I am that constant presence, and there's a sense of deep ease and relaxation that permeates your life when you start to recognize that you are that.
Thank you. That was beautiful. I kept being reminded of my father as a little girl, and my father was my first teacher. And I remember around 4 years old, I envisioned the gingerbread man. And so I looked up at my father, and he reminded me throughout my life about this story. And I looked at him, And I took a little twig and I drew the gingerbread man on the ground and on the dirt. We had dirt. We lived out in the desert. And I said, Daddy, I said, we all live in here. And I see more, right? And it was when he really saw that, I had this gift, that it revealed itself. And I remember saying to him that some people live in the heart, some in the big toe, and some, wherever. And that each of us comes with this amazing gift, as I evolved and, became this adult in my sixth block, I picked up all these different tools. And so much of what I heard you speak of truly resonated with me because of some of my old story of being that little girl who had visions and then stopping that, creating a new pattern with blinders and a wall around me as a businesswoman from 6 to my mid 30s, and then getting into the creative process and changing my story, right? It's the patterns and that it's creating the new story. Like, who are you? Like, our past doesn't define who we are. And so it was lovely to have him visit here again this morning in that integration meditation, whatever you're going to coin that, to have him be here with us to just acknowledge what he always said was listen and see without your eyes and ears, and truly tap into your solar plexus. And as I mentioned before we came on live, that my solar plexus are, and what makes me sit up. If I slouch, I can't even do that. It's kind of weird. It's like I relax in this form. It's like I'm being lifted to the sky, and I feel more comfortable and relaxed in this state than I do slouched over or whatever. But anyhow, thank you so much. It was really nice to meet you, and nice to know another Hawaiian pal. I was across the way on the Big Island, as I mentioned, and so aloha and mahalo.
Aloha. Thank you for your story. I love that you brought that in. Yeah, of the gingerbread man and all of that. Yeah.
Yes, thank you for sharing. So we're going to take a moment, everyone. We're going to walk you through the Ho'oponopono, the make right twice, self-forgiving technique from Hawaii. Hawaii, properly pronounced. So you may unmute yourself if you'd like to engage, or you can mute yourself to have that moment. And as I say the phrases, you mirror them. I'll give you a moment for you to say it back. All right. And of course, there's no particular correct, right or wrong way to say it. This is just the way that flows for me. And then you may use the phrases and reword it when you do it for yourself at another time. Take a deep breath in through your nose, out through your mouth. Now we're going to hold it. Take a deep breath. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Breathe out. Third breath. Now let's begin. I love you.
I love you.
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
Please forgive me.
Please forgive me.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I love you.
I love you.
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
Please forgive me.
Please forgive me.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I love you.
I love you.
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
Please forgive me.
Please forgive me.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I release you.
I release you.
I accept you.
I accept you.
Thank you everyone for taking a moment. We do have an extended version of this that's a little bit modified for those who are visual, and it's phenomenal. If you like to have a little one-on-one, we could walk you through it. I'll consider do a pre-recording so that you can listen to it, and you could do this version of Ho'oponopono, or we could customize it for you too. So to respect those, to keep on track, I understand we started late. We are ending the Facebook Live, so thank you all those on Facebook Live for joining us. And we're gonna stop recording, stop the Facebook Live, but if you'd like to join our extended time, we hold space up to 30 minutes for all those healers present here on the Zoom to share their wisdom, stories, and anything phenomenal so that we can continue integrating our wisdom to continue healing ourselves and so that we can continue healing others. So until next time, take care.
Aloha.
Aloha. Mahalo,
Sterling.
Kathy.